Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to get started on the Dark Angels Deathwing Terminator 2. Now, there's been so much coming out that I was not able to get the entire set. I am going to double back and get them, but two kind of stood out the most to me. So I was like, I'm going to try one now. I'm going to get more later because I definitely want to mix and match some stuff. And I got to say, this is an adjustment from the previous Dark Angel Terminators because what was crazy about this is these are new bodies, but they lose some parts of articulation and they are slightly bigger, but also smaller. And it's hard to explain that. And I'm not sure where to go yet, but the articulation, it's weird because it's cool, but it's limited like in the waist area where everything else actually excels, especially on parts like the head articulation, the shoulder pauldrons, the arms, the legs. But I lose a lot of that waist articulation. So I don't know if this applies towards Deathwing Terminator 2 or the rest of them, but I will look into it. I do love these new helmets. I love the Dark Angels Terminator helmets. They look utterly fantastic. And then as far as shoulder pauldrons, we have that new technology where they pop out like this. You actually get a lot of room. I've seen a lot of complaints about the minis and how these shoulders sit really low. And I'm prone to agree on that. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers the hardcore fans, and they have their right to complain. But I'm still so new to this that I guess I haven't adjusted to the way things are, especially because I do strictly the action figures and they do a lot of the minis, so they know a lot more than me. But we do have a beautiful butterfly joint. Our cords and tendrils for our Terminator arm don't fall out or break or anything like that, as far as I'm concerned. Now, you do have to be careful when locking that pauldron in over the insignia here, because sometimes it can get caught. You don't want anything to mess up, right? We do have a bicep swivel. We still have a beautiful double joint, and these double joints are perfect for these new Deathwing Terminators, as they have storm shields and swords, so it's pretty cool. Now, as far as our waist that we talked about, we just have the inverted ball joint, which you only could go left and right and tilt side to side. There used to be a two-piece that allows for more range of articulation. Our head, like I said, has a lot of movement. As you can see, I could even poke it out a little bit, and it sits really nicely there. But I like that double movement in the waist, but I guess the clothing makes it a little different. I would have absolutely loved to still have that, because giving these guys a bunch of articulation is nice. Now, we still have drop down here. We can lift our leg up, but not as far as the others due to this design where the side pauldrons are. We can still have thigh swivel, and we are still on double joints. And we have super generous ankle pivot, as well as a toe hinge. So, as far as posing this guy up, even with our soft plastic pieces, which I always love that they do that. As you can see now, I'm gonna rotate this sword out a little bit. So with no accessories on, just straight posing, we can see that we actually do get some really nice posing here for our Terminator walk-in. But just standing up, we actually can get some really nice silhouette and style. The real joy is going to come from when we start posing it with its storm shield and the power sword, which is going to be next. But yeah, I do like this design. I just feel like, as you can see, the shoulders are sitting low right now, but you can shift those up and look, they'll match. So it all depends on, I guess, how you sit the arms, because they can rotate down and up. So I'm guessing they just had them down, because I do like, I guess it looks weird because of this top part, but I like it. But like I said, I'm new. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the accessories. One of them is going to be our combat knife here. So just in case you get disarmed or you lose your power sword, you know, you can actually disarm this and you'll have a knife. Next up, I talked about our power sword. So here we are with the power sword. This is a big boy. Power sword is almost as tall as the person. You're going to need that reach. I know we spoke about our storm shield before. I actually like this storm shield. I have the purity seal here, Leonis, the Caliban markings, the markings of what veteran chapter they are in, I believe, of the company, which you have to be in the first company, but which tactical squad you'd be in. And this is the Deathwing. So it's pretty cool that you can carry your own heraldry and customize it. Now, this part right here is pretty cool. I know you can see the circuitry and stuff. You can actually swap between a normal 1.0 style handle. You can actually rotate it around with no issues. It pops in really nicely. Or you can have the new handle, so you can carry and or hold it a certain way. So this one's actually pretty cool. A little less versatile because it'll bump against these parts, but you can still rotate it all the way around. I like the idea of this. Next, you will get a Watcher in the Dark. These creepy little dudes. They're wholesome creepy little dudes, but you better not pray and ask too many questions though, because you'll disappear. And I like that he can stand on it. Well, they can stand on their own. We don't know what gender they are. And then you will get this. This is a servo skull that has like an iron halo that the Watcher in the Dark can hold. And it's soft enough that it can do that. So let me just show you real quick. Open it up. There we go. So they can carry it. But what's really cool is if you wanted to bonk your enemies, your Deathwing Terminator can hold it too. But it's cool to have a Watcher in the Dark hold it, because then that's, you know, me personally, I'm gonna say it. The Dark Angels be aura farming. They do. They be having that drip and they show that shit off. They really do. And you will get a set of trigger hands, as well as a set of item holding hands, which is very important. But I like the fact that they give you closed fist, item holding hands, and trigger hands, because just in case, and let me reiterate in case you're skipping through the video, because some of people do that. The reason why they give you trigger hands is because if you wanted to add a Storm Bolter to customize your loadout, you can. This is from a previous Terminator. So if you want, you have those trigger hands and it does fit. So I wanted to showcase that and talk about that. Now, since we talked about that, I'm gonna go grab some Dark Angels so we can compare our Dark Angels in terms of size comparison and showcase those things. I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, now we're into the size comparisons. Let's compare to some Dark Angels Terminators first. So here we are with one with the Power Fists. Here we are with one of the Knights of Absolution. And as you can see, this guy is a little bit bigger. But what's crazy is like the sizes are of the head sculpts are technically the same. But this Terminator armor is bigger. Bigger legs. But it looks like the same torso. Just slightly different things. But like I said, it's weird because he's bigger but not bigger. But I don't mind the different sizes. I know everybody's, even though they're genetically enhanced, not everybody's the same size. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I do like the way it's filled out a little bit more wider. That actually makes me happy. But I do miss that ab crunch that allows for extra articulation. But we'll see how I feel as I work on it more and more. Because I got to see how it works in photos. Because it photographed pretty well on my table. Here we are with a Dark Angels with Power Fist. This is one of the older ones. Got a little custom cape for it. Then here we are with Cypher, Lord of the Fallen. You can see Cypher is a little bit bigger. But yeah, I gotta say, like, I like this. I like this a lot. Like visually, it still looks good and it functions well. I'm just used to a certain way and I need to adjust. Now, here we go with the Primarch of the Dark Angels, Lionel Johnson. And Lionel Johnson's actually a little bit taller. Got those legs kind of spread out. So I like this. This is pretty cool. As far as tiny humans go, I don't have any tiny 3 1/4 inch humans here right now. But again, I think this works pretty well. I'm gonna try to do some cool photos with Lionel Johnson, hanging out with his Forgiven and things like that. Gotta get some customs made. But I do like the visual look of these Terminators, and I'm definitely gonna try to get the other set. Well, the rest of the set, as well as some others, because the Dark Angels weren't heavy on my list because those Intercessors were really expensive when I first got in the line. So I got a lot of the Terminators. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna try to get my hands on some other ones. But in the meantime, though, I do want to say thank you as always for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys always watching, tuning in, checking out it. I do have one favor to ask. Please be sure to check out my Instagram. I like showing my photography there. And if you want to just see the photography, check it out. I'm also trying to get more on Reddit. I don't know how it works, but I'm trying my best. I really am. So I just want to say thank you for letting me try to explore and continuously like take photographs. So thank you as always, guys. As always, be good, do good. Drink your water, guys. Later. you.